Hi, my name is Nina. This is my story. It happened in Italy. It happened when I spoke wrong English. I was 24 years old. I lived in a small town in Spain. I worked in a cafe. I made coffee every day. I liked my job, but I wanted to travel. I did not travel much before. I felt a little afraid of new places, but I also felt curious. I wanted to see something different. I wanted to feel free. One day, I saved enough money. I bought a cheap plane ticket. The ticket was to Rome. It was my first time in Italy. I felt excited. I felt nervous too. I did not speak Italian. I only spoke Spanish and simple English. My English was not very good. I knew basic words. I knew how to say hello. I knew how to order food, but I was not confident. Before the trip, I watched videos in English. I listened to simple stories. I practiced short sentences. I said them again and again. I would like a ticket. Where is the station? How much is this? I thought I was ready. I felt proud of myself. I packed my small suitcase. I put inside simple clothes, a blue dress, 2 t-shirts, a small jacket, comfortable shoes. My mother hugged me. She smiled at me. She said, "Be careful." I said, "I will be fine." But inside I felt a little fear. The plane was early in the morning. I woke up at 5. The sky was still dark. I felt sleepy but happy. At the airport, everything was fast. People walked quickly. Voices were loud. I listened to English around me. Different accents, different words. I tried to understand. Sometimes I did. Sometimes I did not. On the plane, I sat near the window. I looked at the clouds. They were white and soft. I felt calm. I thought about Italy. I thought about pizza. I thought about old buildings. I smiled. After 2 hours, we arrived. The airport in Rome was big, very big. Many signs were in Italian and English. I read slowly. I followed the arrows. I needed to go to my hotel. The hotel was near the city center. I did not want to take the bus. I felt tired. So I decided to take a taxi. Outside the airport, the sun was bright. Cars moved fast. People talked loudly. Taxi drivers stood in a line. They waited for passengers. I walked to a taxi. A man opened the door for me. He was maybe 30 years old. He had dark hair. He smiled at me. "Hello," he said. "Hello," I answered. He asked where to. I felt a small shock. My mind was empty for 1 second. I knew the name of my hotel, but I forgot how to say the street. I looked at my phone. I showed him the address. He nodded. "Ah, yes. I know this place." I felt relief. I sat in the back seat. The car started to move. The city passed by the window. Old buildings, small cafes, narrow streets. I wanted to speak. I wanted to practice my English. I did not want to stay silent. So I smiled and said, "It is my first time in Italy." He looked at me in the mirror. "Oh, welcome," he said. "Thank you," I answered. I felt brave. I wanted to continue. I wanted to say more. But then, something happened. I tried to say something simple, something easy, but the words in my head were mixed. And that was the moment when everything started to change. The car moved slowly through the city. I looked outside. Everything was new to me. The buildings were old and beautiful. Some streets were small and quiet. Some streets were full of people. The driver looked friendly. He smiled again. "You travel alone?" he asked. "Yes," I said. I wanted to say more. I wanted to sound confident. I tried to say, "I am a little nervous," but I felt pressure. My heart beat faster. I wanted to speak quickly. Instead, I said, "I am very dangerous." The driver looked at me in the mirror. His smile stopped. Dangerous, he repeated. I did not understand at first. I thought I said the correct word. I smiled and nodded. Yes, very dangerous. He became quiet, very quiet. The car felt different now. The air felt heavy. I felt something strange. Why was he so serious? Why did he stop smiling? Then I started to think, dangerous, dangerous. Oh no, I wanted to say nervous, nervous, but I said dangerous. My face became hot. I felt embarrassed, very embarrassed. I tried to fix it. No, no, I said quickly. I am not dangerous. I am. My mind was empty again. The English word did not come. The driver watched me carefully. I could see his eyes in the mirror. He looked confused. I took a deep breath. I am scared a little, I said. First time. New city, he blinked. Then he smiled again. Ah, he said slowly. You are nervous. Yes, nervous, I said loudly. Yes, nervous. He laughed softly. Okay, good, he said. Better than dangerous. Now I laughed too. My body felt light again. The tension disappeared. I am sorry, I said. My English is small. He shook his head. Your English is good, he said. It is normal, no problem. I felt thankful. I felt relief. I felt human. We continued to drive. The city looked bright again. The mistake was small, but for me, it felt big. I thought about that moment. One word changed everything. One wrong word made silence. One correct word brought a smile back. I looked outside and smiled. This trip was already interesting. The driver started to talk again. Where are you from? He asked. I am from Spain, I answered. Ah, Spain, nice, he said. Good food. Yes, I laughed. Good food in Italy too. He nodded proudly. Yes. Very good pizza. The taxi stopped at a red light. I looked at the people crossing the street. Some carried bags. Some talked on phones. Some walked slowly. I felt calm now. My mistake did not feel scary anymore. It felt funny. I said, this is a funny start. Yes, he agreed. Funny story for you. I nodded. Yes, a funny story. But I did not know that this was only the beginning. The taxi stopped in front of my hotel. It was a small hotel. It had yellow walls and green windows. There were flowers near the door. The driver helped me with my suitcase. I paid him. He smiled again. Enjoy Italy, he said. Thank you, I answered. And I am not dangerous. He laughed loudly. I know, he said. I walked into the hotel. Inside, it was quiet and cool. A woman stood at the desk. She had short brown hair. Hello, she said. Hello, I answered. I have a reservation, I said slowly. My name is Nina. She looked at the computer. Yes, Nina. 1 room, 3 nights. Yes, I said. That is correct. She gave me a key. Room 12, she said. 2nd floor. I thanked her and went upstairs. My room was small, but clean. There was a bed near the window, a small table, a chair, a mirror on the wall. I put my suitcase on the floor. I sat on the bed. I took a deep breath. I was in Italy, alone, in a new city. I felt proud, but I also felt tired. I lay down for a few minutes. Then I stood up. I did not want to sleep. I wanted to explore. I changed my clothes. I wore my blue dress. I brushed my hair. I looked in the mirror. You can do this, I told myself. I left the hotel. The street was busy. Cars moved slowly. People talked loudly. The air smelled like coffee and bread. I smiled. I loved this feeling. I walked without a map. I just followed the streets. I saw a small cafe. People sat outside. They drank coffee and talked. I wanted to order something. I wanted to practice English again. I went inside. A young man stood behind the counter. "Hi," he said. "Hi," I answered. "What would you like?" he asked. I wanted a sandwich. I wanted water. "I want a sandwich and a water," I said. He paused. "A water," he repeated. I felt that strange feeling again. Was that wrong? "Yes," I said slowly. "A water." He smiled kindly. "Just water," he said. "Not a water." "Oh," I said. "Just water." "Yes," he nodded. I felt my cheeks become warm again. Another small mistake. But this time, I did not panic. I smiled too. "Thank you," I said. He gave me the sandwich and water. I sat near the window. I thought about my mistakes. Dangerous, a water. They were small words, but they changed the meaning. I took a bite of my sandwich. It was simple and fresh. I drank water. I looked outside. People walked by. Life moved normally. No one looked at me. No one judged me. I realized something important. Mistakes were normal. They were not disasters. They were part of learning. I finished my food. I stood up. I felt stronger now. I walked again through the streets. I saw a big old building. Tourists took pictures. I asked a woman, "Can you take my photo?" She smiled. "Yes, of course." I gave her my phone. She took the picture. "Thank you," I said. "You speak good English," she answered. I smiled softly. Maybe my English was not perfect, but it worked. As I walked back to the hotel, I thought about the taxi, about the word dangerous. I laughed alone in the street. But that night, something else happened. Something that made my English mistake much bigger than I expected. That evening, I felt hungry again. I rested for 1 hour in my room. Then I decided to go out for dinner. The sky was orange and pink. The air felt warm and soft. People walked slowly. Some couples held hands. Some families talked and laughed. I found a small restaurant on a quiet street. There were only a few tables inside. Soft light came from the lamps. A waiter came to me. He was tall. He had kind eyes. "Good evening," he said. "Good evening," I answered. "Table for one?" he asked. "Yes," I said. He showed me a small table near the wall. I sat down. I looked at the menu. The menu was in Italian and English. I felt happy about that. English felt safe. I read slowly. Pasta soup, salad pizza. The waiter came back. "Are you ready?" he asked. "Yes." I said I would like pasta. "Which one?" he asked. I looked again. I wanted something simple. "I would like the pasta with tomato," I said. He nodded. "And to drink?" I remembered the cafe. "No, a water, just water," I said carefully. He smiled. "Still or sparkling?" I froze. I did not understand. Still, sparkling. My mind moved fast, but I could not find the meaning. "Still," he repeated. I did not want to look confused, so I guessed. "Sparkling," I said. He wrote it down and left. A few minutes later, he came back with a bottle. He opened it. Suddenly I heard a sound. P.S. Small bubbles moved inside the glass. Oh, sparkling water. I did not like sparkling water. I did not like the bubbles. But it was my choice. My mistake. I smiled and drank a little. It felt strange in my mouth. The waiter watched me. "Everything good?" he asked. "Yes," I answered. But inside I felt silly. When my pasta arrived, it smelled wonderful. I forgot about the water. I ate slowly. The food was delicious. Then the waiter came again. "Where are you from?" he asked. "Spain," I answered. "Ah, nice," he said. "Holiday, yes," I said. "First time in Italy," he smiled. "Welcome." I wanted to tell him about the taxi, about dangerous. So I tried. Today I told the taxi driver I am dangerous, I said. He stopped moving. He looked at me. Dangerous, he repeated. Oh no, again. Yes, I said quickly. I said wrong word. I wanted nervous. He stared for 1 second. Then he laughed loudly. Ah, nervous. That is different, he said. Yes, very different, I said. We both laughed. Other people looked at us, but I did not feel embarrassed now. I felt free. The waiter shook his head. English is funny, he said. Yes, I agreed. Very funny. After dinner I paid the bill. I stood up to leave. But before I left, the waiter said something strange. He said, "Be careful tonight." I looked at him. Why? I asked. He shrugged. Sometimes people drink too much. Sometimes streets are loud. I nodded. Okay, thank you. I walked outside. The street was darker now. Lights were bright in the windows. I walked slowly back to my hotel, but I did not know that in a few minutes, my English would create a much bigger problem. The street was not very busy. I walked slowly. I looked at the old buildings. The lights were soft and yellow. I felt calm. I felt safe. Then I heard music. It came from a small bar on the corner. People stood outside. They talked and laughed. I wanted to look inside. Just for a minute, I stepped closer. The door was open. Warm light came from inside. A man stood near the door. He smiled at me. Come in, he said. I felt unsure, but I also felt curious. I will stay only 5 minutes, I told myself. Inside, the bar was small. There were maybe 10 people. Some stood near the counter. Some sat at small tables. The man near the door followed me inside. He looked about my age. He had short dark hair. Hi, he said. My name is Tom. Hi, I said. I am Nina. Nice to meet you, Nina, he said. Nice to meet you, I answered. His English sounded simple, clear, slow. Are you from Italy? I asked. Yes, he said. And you? I am from Spain. He smiled. Holiday? Yes, I said. First day. Ah, welcome, he said. He pointed to a table. Do you want to sit? I hesitated, but he looked kind. Okay, I said. We sat at a small table. The music was soft. People talked quietly. Tom asked, Do you like Italy? Yes, I said. It is beautiful. He nodded. You speak good English. I laughed. No. Today I am dangerous. He looked confused. Dangerous. Oh no, not again. Yes, I said quickly. I mean nervous. I say wrong word today, Tom smiled. Ah, nervous. Yes, I said. Very nervous. He laughed softly. It is okay, he said. My English is not perfect too. That made me feel better. A waiter came to our table. Tom ordered something in Italian. Then he looked at me. What do you want? He asked. I wanted something simple, just juice. I want orange juice, I said. The waiter nodded. Tom looked at me and asked, Do you travel alone? Yes, I said. Alone. He nodded slowly. Brave, he said. I smiled. I did not feel brave. I felt lucky. We talked about simple things, food, weather, music. I felt relaxed. I forgot about my mistakes. Then Tom asked, Where do you stay? I wanted to say the name of my hotel, but I felt shy. I did not want to give too much information, so I said something strange. I sleep with many strangers, I said. Tom's face changed. He blinked. He looked surprised, Hotel, I said quickly. In a hotel, many rooms, many people. Tom stared at me, then he laughed, very loud. Okay, he said. That is different. My heart beat fast. Why did I say that? I wanted to say I stay in a hotel with many strangers, but I changed the words, and the meaning changed too. I covered my face with my hands. I am sorry, I said. My English is crazy today. Tom smiled warmly. It is not crazy, he said. It is funny. I looked at him. He did not look angry. He did not look strange. He just looked amused. But at that moment, someone from another table looked at us seriously, and I did not know that this small mistake would create a bigger situation. The man from the other table stood up. He looked at me and Tom. He did not smile. He walked closer to us. He looked serious. Is everything okay? He asked Tom. Tom looked surprised. Yes, everything is fine, he said. The man looked at me. She said something strange, he said slowly. My heart stopped for a moment. What? I asked. The man crossed his arms. You said you sleep with many strangers, he said. My face became hot again, very hot. No, I said quickly. Not like that. I stay in hotel many people. I speak wrong. The man looked confused. He looked at Tom. Tom raised his hands a little. It is just English mistake, Tom said calmly. She means hotel. The man looked at me again. You're a tourist? He asked. Yes, I said. First day, he stayed silent for a few seconds. Then his face became softer. Okay, he said finally. Be careful with words. I will, I said quietly. He returned to his table. I felt small, very small. Tom looked at me. Do not worry, he said. It happens. I nodded, but inside I felt tired. So many mistakes in one day. Dangerous. Sparkling water. Sleep with strangers. I felt like my mouth was my enemy. I think my English is dangerous for real, I said softly. Tom laughed gently. No, he said. Your English is alive. That is good. I looked at him. Alive, I repeated. Yes, he said. You speak. You try. That is brave. I stayed quiet. His words felt kind. The music continued in the bar. People talked again. The tension disappeared. Tom asked, Do you want to walk a little? I thought for a moment. It was not late. The streets were still bright. Yes, I said. We left the bar together. The air felt fresh outside. We walked slowly down the street. We did not walk too close. We just talked. Tom showed me a small square. There was a fountain in the middle. Water moved gently. It is beautiful, I said. Yes, he answered. We sat on a bench. I felt calmer now, but also thoughtful. Today I speak too much, I said, and I say wrong things. Tom shook his head. You learn, he said. That is good. I looked at the fountain. The water moved again and again. It did not stop. Maybe learning was like that. It moved. It changed. But it continued. Tom looked at me. Tomorrow you will speak better, he said. I smiled softly. Maybe, I answered. At that moment, I felt something new. Not fear, not embarrassment, but courage. And I did not know that tomorrow would give me the biggest test of all. The next morning, I woke up early. The room was quiet. Sunlight came through the window. I sat on the bed and thought about yesterday. So many mistakes, so many strange moments. But I was still here. I was safe. I was okay. I decided something simple. Today, I would not be afraid of words. I would speak slowly. I would think before I spoke. I dressed and left the hotel. The morning air was cool. The city felt calm. I wanted to visit a famous museum. I checked the address on my phone. It was not far. I decided to take a bus. It felt easier than walking. At the bus stop, people waited quietly. An old woman stood next to me. A young boy listened to music. The bus arrived. I got on and sat near the window. After 10 minutes, I felt unsure. Was this the correct bus? The streets looked different now. I looked at the old woman next to me. I wanted to ask something simple. "Excuse me," I said. "Is this bus going to the museum?" She looked at me kindly. "Yes," she said, "but you must get off in 5 stops." 5 stops. Okay, I counted in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I stood up and left the bus. But when I looked around, I did not see a museum, only small shops and houses. I felt confused. Very confused. Maybe I misunderstood. I walked to a small shop. A man stood behind the counter. "Hello," I said. "Where is the museum?" He looked at me. "Which museum?" he asked. Oh, I did not know the full name. I tried to explain. "Big museum. Old things art." He thought for a moment. Then he said a long name in Italian. I did not understand. "Yes," I said slowly. "That one." He pointed down the street. 10 minutes walk, he said. I thanked him and walked. After 10 minutes, I saw a big building. Many people stood outside. This was the place. I felt proud again. I did it. I went inside. The museum was large and quiet. Paintings covered the walls. Statues stood in the rooms. I walked slowly. I looked carefully. After 1 hour, I felt hungry again. There was a small cafe inside the museum. I went there. A woman stood behind the counter. "Hi," she said. "Hi," I answered. "I would like a sandwich," I said, "and tea." "Hot or cold?" she asked. I paused. "I wanted hot tea." "Hot," I said. She nodded. Then she asked something fast. Very fast. I did not understand. "Sorry," I said. She repeated it slower. "For here or to go?" "Oh, for here," I answered. She smiled and prepared my order. I sat at a small table. I looked at the people around me. Everyone spoke different languages. Everyone made mistakes in some way. I was not alone. As I drank my tea, I thought about something important. Yesterday, I felt embarrassed. But today, I felt stronger. My mistakes did not stop me. They pushed me forward. I finished my tea. I stood up. And at that moment, my phone started to ring. It was Tom. I looked at my phone. It was Tom. I felt surprised. "We met only yesterday." I answered the call. "Hello," I said. "Hi, Nina," Tom said. "How is your day?" "It is good," I answered. "I am in the museum." "Ah, nice," he said. "I am near the city center now. Do you want to meet later?" I hesitated for a second. Then I smiled. "Yes," I said. "That is nice." "Okay," he said. "Meet me at the big fountain at 6. 6, I repeated. "Yes." We ended the call. I felt light, happy, but also a little nervous again. I stayed in the museum for 1 more hour. Then I went back to the hotel. I changed my clothes. I brushed my hair. I looked in the mirror. "Speak slowly," I told myself. "Think first." At 6, I walked to the big fountain. The sky was blue and soft. People walked around. I saw Tom near the water. He waved at me. "Hi," he said. "Hi," I answered. "You look happy," he said. "I am happy," I said. We walked together through the square. Tom showed me small streets. He showed me a bakery. He showed me a quiet garden. We talked about simple things: his job, my cafe in Spain, music, travel. I felt relaxed again. Then we stopped near a small bridge. The river moved slowly under us. Tom looked at me. "I like your English," he said. I laughed softly. "You like my mistakes," I answered. "No," he said. "I like your courage." His words were simple, but they felt strong. I looked at the river. Yesterday I felt embarrassed. Today I felt different. I said something slowly. I am not dangerous. Tom smiled. No, he said. You are brave. For the first time I believed it. I realized something clear. Speaking wrong English did not make me weak. It made me alive. It made me learn. It made me connect. If I stayed silent, I would have no story. But because I spoke, I had many stories. Dangerous, sparkling water, sleeping with strangers, they were mistakes. But they were also moments. And those moments brought laughter, brought conversation, brought connection. The sun started to go down. The sky turned orange again. Tom looked at me. Tomorrow is your last day, he asked. Yes, I said. Then tomorrow we eat real pizza, he said. I smiled widely. Okay, I answered. That night, as I walked back to my hotel alone, I felt calm. Not because my English was perfect, but because I was not afraid anymore. The next day was my last day in Italy. I woke up early again. The room felt familiar now. I packed my suitcase slowly. I folded my blue dress. I placed my shoes inside. I looked around the room. 3 days ago, I was afraid. Now I felt different. At noon, I met Tom near the bakery. He smiled when he saw me. Ready for real pizza? He asked. Yes, I said, very ready. We walked to a small restaurant. It was not busy. The smell of bread filled the air. We sat near the window. The waiter came. Tom ordered in Italian. Then he looked at me. Do you want to order? He asked. I felt that old fear for 1 second, but only for 1 second. Yes, I said. The waiter looked at me. I would like a pizza with cheese and tomato, I said slowly, and still water. Still water. Not sparkling. The waiter nodded. Very good, he said. I felt proud. Tom smiled. Perfect English, he said. Simple English, I answered. But good enough. When the pizza arrived, it looked beautiful. Golden cheese, fresh tomato. We ate and talked. We laughed about my first taxi ride. You will never forget Dangerous, Tom said. No, I laughed. Never. After lunch, we walked to the fountain again. The water moved softly. I am happy I spoke wrong English, I said suddenly. Tom looked at me. Why? Because if I was perfect, maybe I would not laugh. Maybe I would not meet you. He nodded slowly. Sometimes mistakes are doors, he said. I liked that sentence. It was simple, but true. Soon it was time to leave. My flight was in the evening. We stood near the taxi area. This time, I felt calm. A taxi stopped in front of us. The driver opened the door. Where to? He asked. I smiled. To the airport, please, I said clearly. No fear, no confusion. Tom looked at me. You are not dangerous anymore, he said. I laughed. No, just Nina. We said goodbye. It was simple. A hug, a smile. Inside the taxi, I looked out the window again. The city moved slowly behind me. I thought about my first ride, about my first mistake. I did not feel embarrassed anymore. I felt thankful. At the airport, I checked in. I sat near the gate. I closed my eyes for a moment. I traveled alone. I made mistakes. I spoke wrong English, but I spoke, and that changed everything. If you are learning English, do not wait to be perfect. Speak, make mistakes, laugh. Your story will grow. Thank you for listening to my story. If you liked it, you can listen to more stories here. You can subscribe to the channel. You can tell me what you think in the comments. Maybe you also have a funny story. And maybe your wrong English will create something beautiful too. On the plane, I sat by the window again. The sky was soft and light. Clouds moved slowly under us. I felt quiet inside, not sad, not afraid, just calm. I took my phone. I looked at the photo from the big fountain. Tom stood next to me. We both smiled. I remembered my first taxi ride. I am very dangerous. I covered my face and laughed softly. If I stayed silent that day, I would not have that memory. If I stayed silent in the bar, I would not meet Tom. If I was afraid of mistakes, I would not grow. When I arrived home, my mother waited at the door. "How was Italy?" she asked. I smiled. "It was beautiful," I said, "and funny." "Funny?" she asked. "Yes," I said. "I was dangerous." She looked confused. Then I explained everything. We laughed together in the kitchen. That night, I thought about something simple. Learning a language is not only about words, it is about moments. It is about courage. It is about connection. You will say wrong things. You will choose wrong words. You will feel embarrassed sometimes. But that is normal. That is human. When you speak, you are alive in the language. You are not perfect. You are learning, and learning is movement. Maybe one day you will travel to another country. Maybe you will speak simple English. Maybe you will say something wrong. And maybe someone will laugh with you, not at you, with you. That is how confidence grows. Slowly, step by step, word by word. Today, when I work at the cafe, I speak English with tourists. Sometimes I make small mistakes, but I do not stop. I remember Italy. I remember sparkling water. I remember sleep with strangers. And I smile. Because those mistakes were not problems. They were part of my story. Thank you for staying until the end. You listened with patience. You listened with courage. If this story helped you feel calm, you can listen again tomorrow. You can listen while you rest. You can listen while you walk. Little by little, your ears will understand more. Your mouth will feel stronger. And one day you will speak with confidence. Not perfect, but real. And that is enough.